How you doing, Sandesh here? I'm going to be reading from pushware.com, and basically the Until Dawn remake developers have effectively closed down, says new report. I'm going to get into it now. Ballistic Moon, the developer that worked with Sony on its PS5 PC remake of Until Dawn, has effectively closed down, according to a new report from Insider Gaming. The outlet suggests, after speaking to sources with knowledge of the situation, that the studio is down to its bare bones following a quiet round of layoffs in December for staff working on post-launch support for the game. Now it's said only the founders remain and possibly a handful of workers at most. While the team did work with Sony on the Until Dawn remake, Moon remains an independent developer. Its reported leads at the studio have been searching for funding and new projects, but couldn't secure either. As for more work with Sony, one source speaking to Insider Gaming said the idea was discussed but never materialized. Sony said after the game they might greenlight more funding for updates, but it looks like they didn't. One source speaks to the working conditions at Ballistic Moon, where it's described as a genuinely good place to work. But there were weeks of unpaid overtime leading up to internal announcement of redundancies. Released in October 2024, the PS5 PC remake of Until Dawn proved a slightly controversial release, as many fans questioned the point of it, with the PS4 version freely available and some downgrades present in the new version. It failed to properly take off. With vastly enhanced graphics and minor gameplay tweaks, this is still a highly recommended game, we concluded at the time. The problem is it costs 3 times as much as its 9-year-old predecessor and doesn't have an upgrade path. There are still rumors of an Until Dawn being in the works, but from Horizon Call of the Mountain Team Firesprite, not Ballistic Moon. A movie that loosely adapts the original game is releasing next month. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of not surprised on the developers are pretty much closed down because just like it said in the article, what is the point of remaking Until Dawn when all you had to do was just put out a PS5 Pro patch? A PS5 Pro patch would have just solved it, and then you pretty much didn't have to put any resources in making pretty much a remake which didn't have to exist in the first place. And to me, this remake screams of Herman Hulst and Jim Ryan because remember, games obviously take a bunch of years to make. So I reckon this game probably took about 3 to 4 years to make before before the official announcement when we saw it. So obviously Jim Ryan was still around, and obviously Herman Hulst still had his old job. So the things it wouldn't surprise me if they commissioned it, but yeah, there was no reason for for the remake to even exist in the first place. PS5 patch would for the original would have just solved it. Then the only reason they did the remake was obvious was because of the film. But again, you could have just did a PS5 patch. You could have done an upgrade path. Patch. Excuse me. But no, they didn't want to do that. Another stupid decision of the legacy of Herman Holst and Jim Ryan. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.